machine. In the game, we're clean, we're so keen. Powers in the sky, chasing that dream. That dream, obelisk tide, we rock the scene. Capturing rhymes while taking what's unseen. On the arc, we're kings, we're supreme. Never seen the limits in a way we evergreen. Time cross, visions from stand. We will go clean the crown. We'll tear it down. There's nothing they can never do to take down a crown. And we will pop them down and make the drum sound. There's something inside more blessings sneaking around. Now watch the air still. We're fighting it down. Running, charge, and calculate. The power we bring, gunning like a panther. Here to battle sing. We're blazing through the ranks on the move and swing. With might in our hearts to take everything. Everything pillars rise as we claim our throne. For victory, we've already grown. On the field we fight, we overthrow the known. Nothing stop us, ain't no way we stand alone. Time cross, visions from stand. We will go clean the crown. We'll tear it down. There's nothing they can never do to take down a crown. And we will pop them down and make the drum sound. There's something inside more blessings sneaking around. Now watch the air still. We're fighting death. From the desert altar to the desert outpost, we're craving more. With every sweet stride, we will arrive. We're opening the door. So here's to the grind. We'll tear it down. There's nothing they can never do to take down a crown. And we will pop them down and make the drum sound. There's something inside more blessings sneaking around. Now watch the air still. We're fighting death. Yeah, we're fighting death. We're fighting death. We're fighting death.
Yo, 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 welcome back, governors, to our second slate of matches today. This is Osiris League Season 9, and I am your host, Dirty Dan Gaming. Our second game today is going to bring us to the realm of Bastet in a showdown of some newcomers within the upper echelon of teams in Rise of Kingdoms. Lost from 1903 looks to continue their quest for glory after an intense battle last week against 748S, sister team of the champions 748W, who is waiting in the midst. Whoever the winner of this match will play 748W as they secure their victory against FCK in the 13 UTC match slots. On the flip side, we have Beer, another team of newcomers, which this is starting to become the narrative a little bit for this Season 9 Osiris League. Another batch of newcomers from Kingdom 3376. Beer has had an average margin of victory of around 50,000 points in all of their matches throughout this Osiris League run. So one would be worried about the difficulty of their prior matches and just how ready are they going to be to face a team that has already been put under some pressure as Lost did in their match against 748S last week. This match is going to be kind of an opposite tale of takes from what we just witnessed from 1875 and 60MX, where that narrative was kind of, at least in my mind, the things I was looking out for was like the open field play, going for mids, which we kind of saw a little bit of it, but then it kind of transitioned into this no march occupation style game. Both Lost and Beer play to that same style, where it is definitely going to be a little bit more structure focused. In some of the matches leading up to this, Beer has opted to go for the no march and looking to strike on the 4 altar swings. Very much did Lost last week against 748S. We ended up casting that match, and 748S was put under the pressure of having to go in and just cash as many arcs as possible. And the score actually got a little bit closer towards the end too, as they did do a fair chunk of provisioning. Me and Plato were both kind of there like, whoa, where did all these points come from? Because they were down quite significantly, but Lost opted not to go for any provisioning strategy whatsoever. So that is going to be another thing that I look out for here. Actually, both teams, as I'm looking at the notes, didn't really provision last week. And it's really interesting to see that, especially when you have two teams that like to play structure focused, that is kind of within the realm of strategy that you want to implement, is you want to go for your structures, and then you're also going to want to look to provision at least around, I would say minimum one arc's worth of points, so about 3,000 to 3,500. So it will be very interesting to see both of these teams if they do look to double down on their structure strategy and go for those provision points as well. A couple skills to look out for both teams. Lost opting for the No March and Time Warp, along with To the Death, Sneaky Tactics, and Dust Up. When we go to Beer, they're actually running something a little bit different here. So Energetic, of course, running Charge, Bog Down, Heaven's Grace, To the Death, and No March. So no Time Warp on the board for Beer from what we've been able to see. But again, a lot of their matches have kind of been for more or less kind of blowouts. So this is also a team that I believe they're new into the fold, but they're also not, because Beer was one of the teams in the Grand Prix that just took place. So not total newcomers to Ark of Osiris, as they do have some of that Grand Prix experience to push them along into this quarterfinal round in this Elite 8 per se. Again, the winner of this match is going to go on and face 748W, just to give you an idea of what the bracket breakdowns are going to look like. So we are going to have 748W waiting in the semifinals on this end. And then on the other side of the bracket, those matches have concluded already. So 16OT takes the dub against 65 AC, and then 489 advances against 1718. So next week at 13 UTC, we're going to have a 16 OT and 2489 showdown. And the winner of these matches are going to look to join 748W on the opposite side of the bracket for those semifinal rounds next week. So guys, this is going to be pretty interesting indeed. 55% of the chat so far have lost, winning to Beer, as opposed to the 44%. I'll tell you this, and again, it's almost similar storylines here, where in the last match that we casted, people were voting in chat for 1875 to be the winners, but 60MX holding a majority of the Auric bets in Osiris League. And this is very similar, the same. A lot of people thinking that Lost are going to win. However, only 14.6K Oryx have been bet on Lost. Meanwhile, Beer has a whopping 33.3K, almost double. Or actually, it is more than double. So very interesting to see. Chat got it wrong last time, where Alts was kind of the leader in that aspect. And now we have Beer being the underdogs to chat. So it is going to be very, very interesting to see as we try and get into this match now. Who is going to come out on top and face the former champions in 748W in the realm of Bastet? Oh, very good insights there. Thank you, chat. So Beer's the one EE8 OL team. Interesting. You know, I was curious on that too, because as I'm looking around, I was like, wow, like there's no one EE8. And for those who don't know, they're like one of the better provisioning teams that I think many of us had ever seen in the international servers. And that is a good call out. Thank you, chat, for that. So this is a rebranded one EE8 team. So they are definitely no slouches, and they are like a really, really solid team. So not new. And we see a new Zenith skin popping in here. Very nice. As we're getting the teams starting to teleport in here. Good look at the Beer matchup. We go over on to other side for What the Duck lost 1903, the team of many names. Oh, and we actually have one of our friends here. Is that the Al Qaid that I know from 2581? Holy cow, who knew? So we had friends playing in both of these matches. 1875, obviously we have 60MX with Cortex and Redline and all those other guys there. And we're finding friends playing in this match as well. So very nice to see. Best of luck, Al Qaid. I was one of the OG members of 2581 when I was over there in leadership. And it looks like we're going to have a pretty even matchup here. No one's going to be... actually, we got one last row coming in for Lost. I think they did this last time, too. They were a little bit slow on coming in. So we got 20 seconds until gates open. Still 52% of the poll thinks that Lost is going to be victorious over Beer. Just keep in mind on these skills again, Beer not utilizing Time Warp. So with them being kind of one of those, they are one of those legacy teams. I am kind of surprised that they aren't going for the Time Warp. It is a extremely powerful skill. But again, this team has been one to play teams much stronger than them and usually come out on top. And actually in this matchup here, they are going to have a little bit more power, 3.93 billion to Lost 3.56 billion. As the gates open, energetic being played from both teams. No sentries just yet. T1 runners racing out to their obelisks. I think 1903 was a little slow last week, potentially on a T1 runner too. We can see one zooming in here. This one going for their home obelisk, of course. And still no sentry. Oh, there's one sentry. First one for Beer. Trying to get an idea of how many troops are going to be going to this bottom outside lane for a potential attack onto the Shrine of Life. And no other sentries being used, which is quite interesting, I have to say. And looks like maybe a little bit of an overload coming from 1903's top side here. This looks to be maybe a little bit more. And I think even on both sides, still no sentries in play for Lost, which is... oh, there is one. I'm sorry, I'm blind. So you do have identical sentries being played here, trying to sniff out how much of an assault is going to be sent up onto the Sky Altar, then rotating onto the Shrine of Life. Obelisk plays seem to be looking good, so no funny business here. In a week after we saw tons of Obelisk plays, a lot of people now starting to stay a little bit more standard. We're getting into these deeper rounds now where they need to kind of rely on what they know that they can do best. And both of these teams opting for structure-based strategies from what we've seen in previous matchups. So are they going to look to keep the same, or are they going to look to switch it up and play maybe more of a mid-arc match? Maybe looking to sack an arc potentially and go for an obelisk play? Who knows? What we do know, though, is that this is definitely a season filled with a bunch of newcomers entering the fray. Obviously, Beer kind of being a rebrand, but still being from one of those new realms. And Brian is overcasting the winners of the monumental upset 33-79 versus 31-74. And that the winner of that match is going to go on to face 60MX, who just defeated 1875 on the previous stream that we were covering. So you can see a little bit of an engage starting here on this middle. Potential outpost players going in. Maxix doing a good job splitting his units up, taking away some of the focus here. He is in a little bit of a 2v2 deal as we see the Bai Chi come in, and we see the Bai Chi prove very pivotal in that last match that 60MX and 1875 played in. So we have to keep an eye on that as well. If the Bai Chi is going to come into play, who has more of the Bai Chis on their field? Because it definitely looked like he had a pretty large impact on the match against 1875. So it's definitely going to be something to look out for if we are going to see more Bai Chis in the field in this match as well. And from we're clicking on over here from Beer, we're not seeing too many. Posturing up on the first assault on the Desert Altar is Lost. Beer looking to make an engage here. 60 seconds until altars open. Beer now going in for the full commit on the engage. Trying to push up, get that position on their Desert Altar. Do they have the garrison captain nearby? Potentially just hopping into this node. I may have just missed him. There it is. There is the Heraclius there. The Heraclius with a potential Tamar or Eleanor actually behind it. Pretty interesting play there. Usually you see the Heraclius YSS. Good positioning here from Beer. Sad face train coming out for Lost. They are losing this first fight on the Desert Altar. 25 seconds until Altar opens. Let's get a little bit of a zoomed out view here to see if we can get a better view. Sad face train rolling out for Lost, but still looking somewhat even, as though starting to become a little bit more red here. 10 seconds until Altar opens up. Let's go to the sky view and see the other attacks going on. Topside Desert Altar. Lost having a little bit of the positional advantage here on that end. A lot of red for Beer on this opening play. Are we going to see a no march similar to what 60MX pulled last match against 1875? Lost is able to get into their altar. Herman is the garrison captain right now. They need to get that swap over. As I'm trying to look up on the mini map, garrison captain did get in for Lost. Still a pretty significant presence here from Beer on the open field in the swarm, and they did get the outside sky altar of Lost here. And it does look like this Desert Altar might potentially go down if they can't get any reinforcements into it. The poll has now swayed in the favor of Beer. 51% of chat thinks that Beer is going to win. And they do. Here comes a 4 altar swing into the no march. I believe from the no march perspective, I think that these were capped a little bit early in terms of when the no march play happened. But I think that the no march doesn't take effect on first occupations from what I've been seeing. I could be wrong. I will do a double check on that for you guys. But no march being played here. 4 altar swing. This is looking very similar to what we saw last match against 60MX. And 1875. 4 altar play. Can Lost... Oh man, Lost might actually even be going down to lose this Shrine of War here. Just about a minute and a half until 3 altars start to generate points for Beer on top of the first occupation points that they are going to obtain. See if Lost has enough presence here. I don't think so. They're looking to clear out some of this open field. 5.5 minutes until first mid-arc spawns. Probably start to see a little bit of rotation starting to come in now. And these 2 altars, this Desert Altar and Sky Altar, the home altars of Lost, just very much in the control of Beer at the moment. They are looking to capitalize and get those first occupation points, as we do have a rally coming in here. We have the Henry rally, potentially with the Asher Bonapal behind it. Lost not having much of field presence here to accompany the rally with the swarm. It is an Eleanor, so slightly squishy, not great against the swarm here. But that attack is going to be thwarted. 30 seconds until Beer gets first occupation points on the home Sky Altar of Lost. And these guys are still kind of healthy here, that they can posture up for another defense. And you're going to get some of these reinforcements coming in here soon. 4.5 minutes until Arc spawns. Altars very much in hand for Beer. And even this topside Desert Altar, where we're about 40 seconds away, can Lost go in and make a proper assault on this thing to take it back within 30 seconds? They need to get some kind of first occupation points onto the board. As I say that, first occupation points do start to come in. We see a score now 5,100 in favor of Beer to 1,300 in favor, I'm sorry, not in favor of Lost. 962 points per minute for Beer, 180 points per minute for Lost. This makes you want to think, is Lost now going to take a page out of 748S's book from the match that they played last week and look to impose their will on these mid-arc fights and just consistently score arcs, and then hopefully probably try to rely on some provisions? They are going to have to make a move here, though. First occupation points do come in on the home Desert Altar that is supposed to be Lost. Points go to Beer. It is now generating points for them. 1,157 points per minute for Beer, 210 points per minute for Lost. This is not looking good for Lost. Just 13 minutes into this match, and good reinforcements from Beer here means that this Desert Altar might withstand this attack. Thank you, 1093, for the tax. Popping up on stream. I had some of the actual alliance skills popping earlier for me before I started up the stream, and I was curious if I was going to get any of those effects and notifications popping up while it was in the match, and there you go. Still holding on. Good reinforcements from Beer. Lost trying desperately to get this Desert Altar back. 2.5 minutes until Arc spawns, and this is not looking good. They are able to flip it back, but now they got to start getting ready for mid, as they do look to have a little bit more presence than Beer does. However, still 3 altars in hand, and we know just how drastic of an effect a 4 altar swing can take on a team. Not to mention, you combine that with the fact of no march and the increased point production that you're going to be getting. Beer's been generating almost 1,000 points per minute for quite some time now on this duration of no march. Good position here from Lost, though. This is something that they need to take advantage of here. And although they have good position, I want to say that I think that they're gonna get outnumbered here in mid, as it looks like Lost is kind of splitting up, as they do kind of need to. They got their altars back in hand. Their structures are now starting to stabilize. No skills have been used for Lost, so they should technically have the advantage going into this first mid-arc fight when it comes to skill point usage. But how many are they going to be able to get and utilize, as they don't have many players here in the middle? So we got to see what Lost has got up their sleeves here, because they got a couple players last minute racing in, but it's not looking too good for them. I do want to say that the numbers advantage are for Beer, and Beer kind of sniffing that out and pushing up, as we do get a no march from Lost. And then Beer utilizing the dust up to take advantage of the open field. No march providing all the buffs when it comes to the structure game. Strengthens your garrison, increases the damage for the attack onto the structures, but doesn't give you any value for the open field. So Beer, with the numbers advantage in this first mid-arc fight, also getting the advantage in open field from that dust up skill being used. And Beer looking like the class act legacy team of 1EE8 that we are so used to seeing. 20 seconds until Arc spawns, and full control in this middle for Beer. And now with the numbers advantage that they have here, you would really want to see Lost take advantage of that and get a couple structure plays here, especially since they have no march going on. Pretty good rotation coming here from Lost, with a little bit of a rotation coming from the top side. No rally on screen yet, though. So they do have to remain somewhat healthy on this open field engagement here. We saw this in the last match with 1875, where their engages were maybe just slightly a little early, and not having healthy enough marches to accompany the rally with the swarms was proving very difficult for 1875 to take any structures. So this is a move here. This is a play here on this altar where, especially with the usage of no march, and they are going to be kind of getting a little bit more points per minute, but definitely not as much as value that Beer was getting. So they got to make this play work. Still no rally on screen. They do have a pretty healthy amount of open field marches here. And the timing's just off just a little bit. We take a look at the mini map. The Arc is in control from Beer, as they're trying to walk it back over onto their cities now. If you're a Lost, this is not a position that you particularly want to be in. Down 6,600 points with Arc in hand for Beer. So you're looking at a potential true score of 9,600 point differential that Lost needs to make up here with 43 minutes remaining left in the match. Winner here goes on to play 7-4-8W into the semifinals. Here comes the rally coming in from the top corner of the screen now, finally. And the timing on the rally just, again, not looking to be great, as that open field is now cleared out. And I got Silk Road coming on too. Oh, shoot. I maybe should have went Alliance list for this cast. Who knows? I apologize. I apologize, guys. As we're looking at the bottom side lane, Beer, yet again, holding on to the Sky Altar of Lost. 1 minute until it starts to generate some points for them. And Beer cashing the arc, not waiting. As we see a true score here now, almost 9,500 points. Only Dust Up has been used. They are going to have the skill point advantage going into the next mid-arc fight, which is probably why they decided to cash that. That's the balance that these guys need to find out, right? You need to have that balance as you're going through these matches to use these skills appropriately. And you maybe wanted to see a mirrored no march from Lost when Beer initially used theirs. So now not only has Beer captured the first arc, not only are they securing all of these occupation points, but they are going to have the skill point advantage going into the next mid-arc fight as well. This is not the recipe that you want if you are Lost. So you can see here another little bit of a mistimed rally, and you're seeing a Ho Chu Ming being the rally leader for Lost, which is a very questionable call, something that we don't see really ever. A Huo Arthur, very questionable call here, especially considering that a lot of Arthur's kit you are not getting if you're attacking a structure. He is very much an open field commander. As soon as you start hitting a structure, he is going to lose a significant amount of his kit from that. And Beer just in the clear driver's seat right now. Lost doing all they can to hold on to their topside Desert Altar here, as this thing looks to probably go down. They need to get a reinforce here, as this altar is going to look to go down. Beer yet again taking a 4 altar swing here. In 6 minutes until the next arc. This is a tough road on a comeback for Lost here. Probably going to have to get in some kind of a master strategist play at some point. They do have time warp from what we've seen on their skill bar. They've used it in previous matches. Will they opt to use it again? I think they're going to need to pull out all the stops here with 40 minutes left in this match, or this thing is going to really start to get away from them. And the map just very red here for Beer. Clearly in the driver's seat. No provisions on their side. Couple provisioners in hiding for Lost, although not enough. And they kind of can't even afford to do the provisions right now, because they're getting handled quite easily in these open field exchanges. And they are going to need to keep those resources on the field, not going out for their open field defenses. We do see a pretty good escort here. Rally coming down onto the home Desert Altar of Beer. You need to start getting these troops down here as they do turn to look onto the swarm. Pretty healthy marches coming in. See the Bai Chis in the field having pretty good effect. Another Bai Chi right here. Trying to get a count and a gauge. How much are these guys really playing an effect into these matches? Rally getting aggressively swarmed down. Beer doing a good job on this defensive. It was a pretty good escort from Lost. Rally goes down. And not much here in this attack that Lost can do to try and snake away Desert Altar from Beer. And these guys have been holding these altars for a long time now, both generating points for them, holding them for at least 3 minutes. And this is quite the dominant performance so far from Beer. Again, the timings are crucial on these attacks. You want to have your rallies coming in roughly around the same time you're having a pretty full and healthy open field supporting cast. And as we saw last match with 1875 or 60 MX, Lost just hasn't really been able to get some of their timings down here. As this altar is going to continue to hold up here. Four altars still in control. The map entirely red except for the Shrine of Life over here on the top side for Lost. Lost is able to take back their home desert altar as we go up to the top side. Very healthy open field support here. And if I'm Lost, I don't know if I want to push down onto this just yet. Maybe with some of your red and yellow marches, start pushing down, look for a refresh, start to chip away some of those troops. But we saw 18-5 kind of get into this cycle here where they would have a successful defense onto the desert altar and then push down onto some of this open field presence here to try and thwart out another assault. And maybe this just isn't the play. This is exactly what we saw 1875 kind of getting into the cycle of. They are now kind of switching down, start moving on to the Shrine of War here as the rally is coming down to get accompanied. They did get back their Shrine of War on this bottom side here. Lost did. So starting to make up those points a little bit. 2.5 minutes until Arc spawns. Let's get a look at the middle. No presence at all for Lost. Everything is on the field for them to get up a occupation game going. Although I do see a little pocket of troops here. Potentially a master strategist play about to come in. We got to keep an eye on that. Pretty good assaults starting to come in. A lot of open field presence for Lost. As we see pretty well-timed attack here. Can What the Duck make some moves here? 35 minutes left in this Arc match. 1 minute and 45 seconds until Arc spawns. So you're seeing the Asher Bonaparte Henry going up against the Eleanor. There's the sneaky tactics play on those marches coming in. 1.5 minutes until Arc spawns. And I'm trying to think maybe, just maybe, I think Beer knows that the sneaky tactics play is coming in. Because where these guys were positioned up might have just been within the range of this sentry. Although no, they cannot see them. The sneaky tactics did work well. They don't see any presence there. Do they have a desert storm to unveil those sneaky tactics marches? Sky Altar fallen once again for Lost. Attacks going on for the desert altar. Shrine of War under some pressure here. Beer needing to honor this pressure. Just about 30 seconds until Arc spawns. We will go over into the middle to see what the sneaky tactics play is going to be for Lost. They do definitely 1000% need to get this Arc. If they don't get this Arc, then I think they might have to sniff their Osiris League hopes bye-bye. Sneaky tactics march is sitting on the Temple of Osiris. Is Beer going to be diligent enough to keep some troops here? Arc spawning in 13 seconds. They are keeping some troops nearby. Master Strategist being used by Lost. Looking for the Master Strategist sneaky tactics combo. Arc has spawned. Who's going to get first pull? I think I may have seen it come out for Lost. Can they get the pull here? And no, it goes to Beer. Master Strategist play is now thwarted. Sneaky tactics troops now back over onto the side of Lost. Oh no. That is not what Lost needed, committing those 9 points for that mid arc. And this might be a GG's on the run of Lost. What the duck. Thinking just that in their head as a sneaky tactics master strategy play does not work out. No presence here for Lost to go and snake this thing back. 3 altars in hand for Beer. 2 altars in hand, I'm sorry. This Sky altar just flips back. And now with Beer comfortably in the driver's seat, just got to minimize their mistakes, make sure that they hold on to this arc. And I honestly wouldn't even be surprised here if we see Beer go in to just go ahead and cash this arc yet again and really kind of start to run up this score here. Attacks on that home desert altar for Lost. As rally is coming in, rotations coming in from mid. These troops are going to be relatively healthy. And this is not looking good for Lost. That was their home run play there that they were hoping to get. Beer has lost control of the arc. And pretty good defense here from Lost so far. Chat, keep me up to date on the other match that Brian is casting on this channel as well. 3379 versus 3174. 3379, of course, being on the winning end on the probably the most historical upset in Osiris League history. So can they look to keep that run alive against 3174 to face off against 60 MX? Lost doing a really good job here on this desert altar, getting their reinforcements in. Still a pretty heavy presence from Beer. They need to keep getting those troops into this desert altar. If you guys are enjoying this Osiris League coverage, be sure to hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the official Rise of Kingdoms channel. Also, be sure to check out all of the official casters links, which are in the description down below. Plato, Chisgold, Brian Koo, and myself. Brian and I flying solo. So Plato is traveling the world. Chiz has some scheduling conflicts, so we are flying solo this week. And as expected, Beer does go in and they cash that arc, knowing that they're up ahead on skill points yet again. There is going to be a slight point generation advantage when it comes to Lost as well, so they will hopefully make up some of those points because they are the losing team. Losing team is going to generate a little bit more points on the skill bar. And this is what I would have liked to see about 15 minutes ago on this defense. This was a really amazing defense here from Lost on this desert altar. Not much better to say on their bottom side outside lane, where that Sky altar is still blinking in red, and they do just are able to flip that back. They need to get that thing starting to generate some points for them. And this is a very impressive hold for Lost. As we're just under the halfway mark in this match. Very good defense here. Look at the sea of reinforcements here from Lost. A very good job to keep that altar afloat for them. And as I do that, I cast Curse It, of course, although that was a very, very long defense. Oh no, it's still blue. I'm sorry. It was a very long defense, and you can see a fresh Garrison captain starting to come into frame here. So very good defense here from Lost. Again, something that I would have liked to see about 15 minutes ago or so, especially when they used that no march. And here we got Silk Road notifications coming in yet again. And this is very, so this is kind of like what I'm used to watching with Beer and 1EE8. They've always been known as a very good occupation team, always being able to run up the score when it comes to provisions. And I have to say here that they're looking rather impressive in the open fields, kind of maybe getting a little bit of the extra beef. They do have the power advantage on Lost, as a 400 million point gap in between these two teams' power. And I think I'm just seeing a little bit better open field play from them than I've seen in previous matches and other seasons. And 1E8 was always one of those teams that I always enjoyed watching, purely because of their approach to the game on some of those occupation plays. And then, of course, being able to show out in provisions. They were always one of those teams who seemingly kind of won matches on the provisioning front, being able to provision upwards of 6,000 to 7,000 points, which is something that was very uncommon to us here in the international server until we started seeing a lot more of that play in the Grand Prix from the Chinese server teams. But now with the effect that No March has, you kind of are allowed to maybe forego on the provisionings a little bit, especially if you know that you're going to kind of have a lot of this control that Beer is going to maintain, and just kind of keep that points per minute very heavily in your favor. And here's that little bit of disparity that I'm talking about here from the total kills. 7 million more kills than Lost so far, so proving to be very good in the open field here. And again, you have to wonder how much are the Bai Chis really having an effect on these Osiris League teams when it comes to the open field. Now, I think this is giving the community a nice sample size in terms of what their, ideas might be when it comes to working on a commander like Bai Chi. I mentioned it in the last match that I did. He is a commander that I am going to be investing in for purely for this reason, as I am looking to have some Osiris League play in my future as well. And when you just kind of look at the differences on his kit compared to kind of the traditional pairing that Liu Cha has with Alex, I think it's almost a no-brainer that players now start to look at Bai Chi as being kind of that best infantry march in the game for sure, and arguably having much more value than Alex is bringing to the field in these arc matches. So again, we don't have the exact amounts on these, but maybe a little bit more presence on the Bai Chi front for Beer than Lost has in their lineups. Definitely is not much of a difference from the last match that I was streaming. 60MX, I think, looked to pretty favorably have more Bai Chis in their open field lineups. This match a little bit more even. I can't quite tell. I am seeing a lot of Liu Cha primaries on the side of Lost and not too many Bai Chis. And we have still yet to see a Tokugawa appearance, who is also the newest infantry garrison commander to make his way into the game. We haven't seen any of that from an Osiris League standpoint just yet. Although chat didn't make the good call out in the last match that he isn't that great against the swarms, which is why you're probably going to continue to see those Gorgos be a little bit more effective when it comes to these arc matches, as Beer playing on the Heaven's Grace, probably having a little bit more of a fuller health skill bar than they would have liked, and opting to go for some skill usage there. 2.5 minutes until arc spawns. A huge cluster of troops in the middle for Beer already. This is probably something that you would like to see Lost take advantage of here and go for some altar caps. They should have some kind of skill bar accumulation here, maybe for a no march play. So we can see a pretty decent rotation coming from Lost here. Do they have the rally to accompany it? They have nothing in the middle, so they definitely want to take advantage of this structure kind of emptiness that Beer is going to be experiencing due to the lack of troops. But there is no rally on that outside lane. Time warp being used by Lost are laying that into probably another master strategist play, as we see that same trickle of troops, sneaky tactics being used. And I think Beer knew of the marches being there, but now that sneaky tactics is in play, they cannot see those marches. So it looks like it looks like Lost going for another sneaky tactics into master strategy play here. Meanwhile, also kind of putting on some decent pressure on this topside outside lane. Still no rally accompanying a huge presence here for Lost. You would have liked to see this rally maybe 30 seconds faster, where they probably would have been able to have a little bit of a better effect on this rally and swarm attempt on the outside lane. Sneaky tactics still in use. We're waiting for that master strategist call. 40 seconds until Arc is going to spawn. And still a pretty good presence here from Lost on this home sky altar of Beer. The Eleanor holding strong. The Asher Bunapal and ZL rally. No, Henry rally. Going for that little bit more of counterattack damage. Eleanor is holding up really well. Open field getting cleared though. As we're going to pan over to the middles. Arc of Osiris is going to spawn in 10 seconds. We got to keep an eye on that on the mini map. Sneaky tactics marches are still here on the Temple of Osiris. Now the thing that they need to do here is get the first pull. If they can get first pull into the master strategist, that's where they lacked last time. And maybe, oh, this is really hard to tell. This top march from Lost might have it here. No, Beer gets the pull yet again. Now I think Lost holding on to the master strategist, looking to secure the arc first, which is maybe what they would have wanted to do last mid-arc fight. As the arc does go down, not enough troops here to get the master strategist play. Here comes master strategy from Lost onto the arc. Do they have a contingent of troops getting ready to go into this thing? Not really. They're hoping for the snipe and the quick pickup. No troops here coming through for Lost from that we can see yet. Nothing. 2 empty sneaky tactics and master strategist plays from Lost. Beer secures the 3rd arc in a dominant performance. Occupation game of 12,000 point gap, looking to add on to the arc score as well. 21 minutes left in the match, and I think that this is now going to be out of reach for Lost, and their Osiris League hopes going to come to an end with a second miss sneaky tactics master strategy play. Just not being able to get those first pulls. This is why these matches come down to the ever slightest of margins. Who can have the faster fingers to pick up those arcs? And this is looking to be very dominant performance. 748W is definitely going to have to be on their A game next week, as it is looking like Beer is going to go into the semifinals and face off against the former champions. Lost not wanting to get this lead go out of hand any more than it is already, trying to hold on to this home desert altar of theirs. And we've seen a couple good defenses here from Lost in these later stages of the matches, and you wanna think that maybe they were just maybe a little rusty. And to my point on the intro, if Beer was going to be able to, you know, have a performance against a team who's seen some proven matches so far, and they are definitely up to the test. Remember, Beer's pretty much been winning all of their Osiris League matches this season around a margin of 50k points. So looking to keep that average up in this match here, and they might even go above that average if they're able to keep cashing these arcs the way that they have been. Good defense here from Lost as they're pushing off these troops, these last little remaining bit of troops from Beer, looking to rotate onto the altar and onto the shrine. Pretty decent timing. Still, you want to see that be a little bit better. And I think, again, this is very much the tale that we saw with 1875, where their timings on these rally and swarms just weren't the greatest. A little bit of indecisiveness here from GOAT. And you got to keep moving up to get onto this swarm, guys. And this guy's AFK, and he could have helped the rally, but low morale is potentially for Lost, causing some unforced errors here, as this attack is not looking all that great. Beer allowing just one player, one march, and then the garrison efforts to prevent this attack. Rally is down. Lost now has to rely solely on the swarmers. And we are seeing the Eleanor with the Heraclius garrison. You can see Beer coming in with a siege march over here. And a very good hold from Beer on this attack. The timing was almost there. And then again, you get the exchange here where they're trying to rotate off and go and take some points. But again, this is very similar to what we saw in the last match with 1875, where these rotations are causing their home altars to go down. I know you need to go in and make up some points, but you kind of want to play defense a little bit and secure these points from your home altars, because you've just been losing them a little bit too much. Very similar matchups, gameplay styles that we were kind of seeing from Lost in 1875 in these two matches that we have streamed. And it might not be the attempt. One thing that we saw from Grand Prix that a lot of the Chinese teams liked to implement is when they would take an advanced structure, they would then posture up and play defense. And I know this isn't an advanced structure for Lost, but you do kind of want to maybe posture up and play defense in front of the desert altar here a little bit, as opposed to rotating down onto this Shrine of War, which isn't going to offer you as much points, and then also kind of getting a little bit greedy by going for the outside lane Sky Altar play. And then you can see here Beer doing just that, moving up and playing defense on an advanced structure that they have taken, letting the rotations come in for the second wave of defense. And this is really what you want to see here. You want to push up. You want to make sure that, again, you're forcing your opponent to make those choices and kind of use some of those resources. And I don't want to say that Lost has even made so many mistakes this game. I just think that Beer has kind of outplayed them in a way. These opening moves are becoming even more crucial now. There's a lot for these teams to worry about. You have these obelisk plays that have happened last week that you do need to honor. And then as you're going into these first mid-arc fights, you have the no march strategies that people are implementing, looking for 4 altar swings, getting a no march, and the next thing you know, you're up around 5,000 to 5,000-ish points from what we've seen these last few matches. And you're already now, even if you do get that first arc, you are still going to be down a 2,000 point deficit due to these no march plays that we're seeing before the first arc. And they're proving to be extremely powerful. And not to mention, we haven't even taken into the fact that these teams that like to play structure focus a little bit could also be provisioning on the back end as well to counteract a first arc loss as well. Good presence here from Lost to take back their home desert altar. And this is where now you just want to position a little bit. Send some of your troops down to accompany them. Go for a rotation here, whether that's onto the Shrine of War or onto the Sky Altar, but don't send the whole thing because you keep losing your desert altar. You want to make sure that thing is going to stay maintained. As we're getting the rotation coming down yet again. Home Sky Altar is in hand for Lost on the bottom side. Obelisk in hand for Lost. 3 minutes until the third arc is going to spawn. And are we going to see this pendulum swing yet again as Lost is going for this pretty aggressive push down here? No rallies accompanying for the Shrine of War just yet. No rally in sight for the outside Sky Altar attack. So you gotta wonder why they're pushing up as far as they are. You're giving them the positional advantage. Even if you do wipe these troops, they're gonna have the refresh advantage on you. And here comes a bog down as Beer is just heavily in the driver's seat, being able to utilize these skills at free will now. So the early chat polls for those who had lost winning, the Auric bets tell the tale for both of these matches. 60MX being the favorite last match, Beer being the favorite in this match in terms of Auric bets. YouTube chat being 0 for 2 initially, because I saw some people maybe changing the votes, or the votes caught up a little bit for Beer to win that poll eventually. But the Auric bets do not lie. Chat making a good point that we could get 5 arcs here, potentially. Here's the no march from Lost. And as you can see here, their open field is just, it's now gone. You're giving the refresh advantage to Beer. They probably have a rally timed up pretty well. You are seeing some players get back onto to play this defense onto the Desert Altar. Outside lane Sky Altar attack is not really existent. There's no rally coming in. It's coming into frame now, but it is going to be a little bit off timing. And bottom side, outside Sky Altar under heavy pressure. Beer looking to run up this score as we have a 26 differential in points right now. In this realm of Bastet, you have 16 OT going against 2489 or 489. In the semifinals, winner of this match, which is looking to be Beer, goes on to face 748W. The reigning champion in the realm of Bastet. Can they look for the repeat here? Or is Beer going to have enough in the tank to prevent the reigning champions from progressing into the finals? Arc has spawned. No points available for Lost to use here. So I think this is going to be a relatively safe escort for Beer. 3 altars in hand for them. And you're seeing finally a little bit of that kind of defensive play that you want to see from Lost as they look to hold on to their Desert Altar here. Very low troops coming in for Beer. You see a very rare XY in the field. XY with the potential belly, maybe? That is an interesting play there. Comfortable enough that the commander choices are pretty good. You gotta wonder if they're gonna look to make some adjustments for that against a potentially superior team in 748W here, or I guess they are the superior team since they are in the semifinals. A very rare Herman rally as well. So not only are we seeing XY in the field, but maybe we're seeing a little bit of testing on the side for Beer as we're getting the Herman ZL rally. Looking to add on to those poison stacks and hold it. As that rally does go down. Pretty good presence here for Lost. And hopefully they can get this last hold here, start to kind of fine tune their strategy for season 10 as Beer, closing out these last 10 minutes, is going to look to move on into the semifinal rounds. Good defense here for Lost. Now looking onto the rotation for Shrine of War attack potentially, although there is a very sizable murder ball waiting in the myths here for Beer. Some of them are now starting to split off for defense onto the Sky Altar as they are somewhat outnumbered here. No rally on the altar though from Lost. Dust up being used from Beer. And a pretty sizable rotation there. It looks like maybe it was just one player. The remaining majority of that murder ball trying to stay down here in this middle position, trying to keep the posture alive for an attack on the desert altar of Lost. So we go to the points per minute, 740 points per minute for Beer, 572 points per minute for Lost. And you can see that occupation score just kind of slowly growing, 15,000 points now. Point differential when it comes to occupation, 15,000 point differential for mid arcs, and we're starting to creep up on 10 million kill difference for Beer. Not as big of a disparity as we saw last match between 60MX and 1875, where 60MX held a 20 million kill differential against 1875. So not that much of a disparity in this match here. And I will key in on it again. If we're looking at the new use of these new commanders, specifically Bai Chi, I do want to say that 60MX has had more in the field than what I'm seeing from Beer here. So it is going to be very interesting as we're going into these final rounds of this Osiris League, how many teams are going to start to make the adjustment to start to bring in a little bit more of a Bai Chi heavy presence, as opposed to running the Liu Cha Alex, as opposed to running the Skippy Ragnars. Because the Bai Chi difference is definitely being felt here in these last two matches, in my opinion. Just under 8 minutes left in this match. Lost looking to go on for a defense here on their desert altar, trying to hold this thing here. As we're just seeing a ton of pressure here. We are seeing the XY William from this player. So you are getting some defense debuffs from it. You're getting some nice burst damage when it comes to being to him being the Swarmer. The skill damage debuff from William doesn't really take effect too much with the Gorgo garrisons here, as Beer is able to take that desert altar. Can they look to hold it and end the match with 4 altars in hand and try to glow up their score to match that 50k average that they've been having against all of their opponents in this Osiris League run? We are going to get another arc spawn. And Beer just playing, I said last match against 60MX that was probably one of the cleaner matches that I've ever seen, and I think Beer might be topping that here. Both teams kind of playing relatively the same, to be honest, too, putting a lot of pressure on the occupation game, being pretty dominant in their open field battles. Beer using to the death here now on this topside murder ball, trying to clear out, hold that altar in its entirety to wrap up this match. But a lot of similarities that we saw last match from 60MX that we're seeing Beer implement here as well. Very good to the death usage here as they're clearing out this open field. Lost just trying to send everything at the house that they can, but that those to the death buffs really taking a toll here as a sad face trade. It's happening right outside the cities. The map is almost all but full red as the Shrine of Life on the outside lane falls. Maybe flips back. Nope. Very much red on the entirety of this match. Can they go up and take this Shrine of War as well to finalize the Sea of Red? 5 minutes left in the match. 3 minutes, 40 seconds left until Arc spawns. Shrine of Life falling yet again. Assault coming here on the bottom side, inside lane of Shrine of War. These mark this murder ball still alive, fighting in front of the cities of Lost. You would think that Beer had the advantage here on refreshes because they've been sitting on this spot for so long, deterring the attack that Lost wanted to implement with this rally. As the rally comes down with a few players, but it's just not going to be enough, as we see a very rare Liu Cha rally attacking the Desert Altar, where we see an also very rare Dido appearance from Beer. As we do see the full skill bar reveal on both of these teams. So Beer opting for energetic, bogged down, Heaven's Grace to the death, running charge, and no march last match, replacing running charge with dust up, I believe. So dust up being added, new to their skill bar, something that they were now implementing a little bit, trying to tune themselves up for these semifinal matches. And we see all but similar from Lost in terms of their skill usage, although they did bring Master Strategy into the fold. Not having the dust up on the board, from what it seems like, there is one skill that has not been revealed for them. I don't know if they're going to get another chance to use it. Let's go check out this attack on the Shrine of War. Will Beer be able to turn the map fully red in these closing 4 minutes of this match? 2 minutes until Arc spawns. As we see the rally coming in. Is that the rally? I don't think that's the rally. Actually, I think it's just a stray Scipio A and Tariq in the field. Beer looking to race up. This is the sole structure that they are going to need to turn the entirety of the map blue, aside from the outposts. Pretty good defense coming in here from Lost. Trying to close out the match on a strong note, keeping at least one of their structures blue as the Shrine of War does flip back on the top side. Good defense here, where I think Lost is going to be able to hold this thing. Good little bit of troops coming up from Beer from the south side here on this attack. Altars being contested on the top side. Arc is going to spawn in 50 seconds. Most likely Beer is going to get this one too and look to run it over. They are going to have to race it over. They're not going to be able to cash it with the Master Strategist play, so they got to hope that those T1 troops that they're going to have are going to be fast enough. And like, again, look at the contention that Beer has by being able to push up so far onto these cities and just really asserting that dominance in the open field, keeping any marches away from potential attacks on those home structure sky altars here. So you go back up to the top portion of the map. Beer still holding on with the Dido rally. Lost with a good attack here. Arc spawns in 15 seconds. We have a score difference of 32,000 points. So it doesn't look like Beer's going to get up to around that 50k point that they usually get up to. However, still a really sizable victory here that's got to have them feeling really good going into the semifinals against the former or the current champions of the realm of Bastet, who are looking to repeat. Beer with a good hold here, trying to hold on to these 4 altars here. Points per minute heavily in their favor. 890 points per minute to 210 points per minute. That's the effect that these 4 altar swings can throw in your favor if you like to play these structure-oriented games. The Dido holding very strong here. Maybe an opt here to utilize some archer units to hold on to a structure, try and limit the amount of healing that has had to be done if there has been any healing at all. Little bit of units healed for Beer. Quite a lot for Lost. 3.6 units healed, and you can see that again. That is the disparity in the kills. About still just under 10 million kill disparity for Beer. Heaven's Grace being used yet again for Beer, trying to keep their troops as healthy as they can on this last defense on the home desert altar of Lost. And that Shrine of War still being able to stay in control for Lost. 40 seconds left in this match, and it does look like Beer is going to score 5 arcs in this match. 19,500 points, would it be? 20,000 points. What a showing from Beer. In the last stand, the Valiant stand, the last skill on the board for Lost comes out in the final closing moments of this match. Beer having a lot of momentum going into the semifinal round. Shout out to Lost. Very good match played here, but Beer just proving to be a little bit too much for 1903 as their Osiris League hopes have now fallen. Beer and 8 Sebo being the MVP of the match. Again, here a summary of the battle. I think the tail here is going to be the open field difference. Obviously, the occupation, the timings on these attacks were just a little bit off from Lost. Beer looking to take advantage of those false timings and get better rotations onto the structures, really proving themselves going into the semifinal round. Next week, we have an epic matchup against 748W in the realm of Bastet in the semifinals. On the other side, 16OT versus 489. If you enjoyed the stream, be sure to hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the Rise of Kingdoms official page. All of the Osiris League casters, links to their channels are in the description down below. Be sure to give us a shout. Until next week, guys, I'm out. Later. See y'all. Peace.